Hey guys, always Dizzy here, back with another video from my beginner chess game analysis series. It's been a while since I did my last one, I think a few months ago, maybe longer. Um, a reminder that if anyone would like me to look at one of their games or one of your games, simply shoot me a message somewhere and link me to your game. Please make sure it's at least a rapid game or longer. And yeah, and I'll do it for you. Um, oh yeah, and before I begin, I always give a little disclaimer. I am not a titled player, so I'm not a grandmaster or anywhere close. To give you an idea of my skill level, my current peak on Lichess is 2154 on rapid. So gives you an idea. So don't think that I'm a title player giving advice. Okay, and I think that covers everything. So in this game is actually from one of my Twitch viewers called or named Aerytheta. This is going to be a little bit of a difference from my other videos because she's not really a beginner. She's actually rated 19 in this video, or sorry, in this game. She is rated 1925 on Lichess Classical, and I think she's probably even stronger than that. So, I mean, I'm not that much stronger than her, if at all, but she still wanted me to make a video. So, normally I do these videos on people that are rated kind of 1750 and lower. Also, this is an interesting game because it is a 45 plus 45. Which is a very long game. You can usually get some nice quality games. I haven't looked at the game yet, so this would be my first time looking at the game. But someone did run the analysis on it already, and I noticed that it's completely flatlined, with both sides not making a single mistake. In fact, the average center pawn loss was 10 for one person and 11 for the other. So that's like super GM level. And she sent me a message with this. She said, there were two situations in the game where I just knew for sure that I was better and nothing happened. Don't really understand. Any insights you could provide would be incredible. So let's take a look. Let's see what happened here. So if you see me waving around the mic, I got some bugs in my office right now, and they're annoying the hell out of me. So that's what that's about. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, just ignore my waving of my hand. Okay, first time looking at this game. So we have. Oh, by the way, yeah. So Aerytheta here is black. So we're looking at it from her side of the board here. So knight f6. This is what I play. Okay, g6. This is usually. Well, this could lead to a bunch of different openings here. Often I think it's a King's Indian attack. So I don't play this as black, so I won't be able to really offer too much insight here at all, considering her rating. I'm guaranteed she knows this way better than I do because I don't play it, and she's pretty high rated. So I am not going to comment on this. I am going to look. I don't have the engine open. I'm not going to consult the engine, but I do have the book database open on the side, which I will just peek at a little bit. So this is all mainline stuff so far. E5. Again, unfortunately, I cannot comment on this because I do not play this. It looks like white deviated a little bit with d takes e5. It's still a move though. It's fourth main line, but not as popular as just castling here. So this is all book. This is all theory. I cannot comment on this. Also note that normally I would be explaining very basic things because this video series is kind of targeted towards beginners. But in this game, since it is a much higher rated game than usual and a longer time control, my analysis is going to be, yeah, it's not going to be catered towards complete beginners as usual. So knight d5 is also another deviation here. Really, the main line, and I'm just consulting the book database here, is bishop g5. Um, so just a note there, nothing wrong with knight d5. It seems so according to the win rate in the database. Yeah, it takes. This is all still theory. c6, challenging the d pawn. I hope this video is not going to be super boring because, yeah, the computer said that it was perfect play by both sides. So we'll see. We'll see if I can offer any insight here. So h6. This is a deviation from book here. It appears that the main two lines here are b5, challenging white's bishop in the center, and c takes. So this is interesting. And for the first time after h6, we will be without the book, and I can start thinking critically. So it looks like Aerytheta here is trying to maintain the tension in the center. h6 is interesting for sure. Was she worried about bishop g5? Sorry, I'm trying to catch the bug. Very unprofessional here. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure if she was. I mean, it seemed like she's worried about bishop g5 here, but I'm not certain that that's a real. Okay, so I guess I don't know if that's a real. She might be worried about that, and then a discovery on the king. So I'm guessing she was worried about bishop g5, and if f6, and I guess she's also burying her dark squared bishop if she plays f6. Not even considering the discoveries against the king. And that is a real consideration because suddenly the dark squared bishop is terrible there. So I could see why she would play or want to play h6. But it is a slow move, and black hasn't finished developing, so I'm not so sure about it. Sorry, I'm trying to catch the bug. I'm just wondering if we, is it so bad if we allow white to play bishop g5 and but we don't play f6, like we just move the rook? I don't know. It is annoying. Are we able to play rook d6? We might be able to play rook d6. So let's say bishop g5, rook d6, castles. And then black can just proceed from there. See, one nice thing about that is we're not kind of wasting a move with h6. We can play h6 after, and the difference is, so let's just say, okay, so for example, let's say, okay, because we actually get another move here. I don't know what we would do. So let's say we took on d5. I'm not sure how white would take, probably take with the bishop. And then let's say, or actually, yeah, because if we take here, I don't think bishop g5 is a move. Because I think then we could play f6. And if bishop takes, then I think we could take and then take here, but then we're giving up a bit too much. We're giving up a rook and 2 pawns for the 2 minors. So, I mean, it is kind of tricky. Because, yeah, bishop g5 could still be a concern here. So I could see why she just did not want to deal with any of that and play h6. Sorry, right here. This is the position where she played h6. Sorry if this video is going to be more boring than usual because it's complicated. Yeah, so CD bishop g5 is something that needs to be considered. I'm wondering if we're just still okay there at with rook d6 at the end of that though. CD, bishop g5, rook d6. I'm going to turn the engine on because I'm curious myself what the computer suggests here. So the computer it doesn't hate h6. It's fine with it. Again, we know that. We already know that from the pre-analysis that there were no mistakes made in the game. So yeah, h6 is okay. It's just interesting that it's not theory. The main two lines are b5 and cd. And computer quite likes b5. I'm going to turn off the engine there. I said I was going to use the engine, but it was so interesting. I was just curious why h6 is right here h6 is not really been played. It's been played a few times, but not nearly as much as cd and b5. So h6 is okay. So if you're still watching, good job, because I know that was probably pretty boring to watch, but it's still useful because it can give you some insight into how a stronger player might think or critically analyze positions. I still feel it seems a little slow. That's why I thought maybe this is not great. But at least at lower depth, the computer is fine with it. And I think it's, from a practical point of view, it does lessen headaches because that bishop g5 can be annoying for black, as you saw me trying to work out solutions for it. So castles. Bishop d7. Now that I'm really not sure about. That to me seems very passive. So yeah, bishop d7. That's an odd move, I think. I think like for me, I think I would be trying to regain some sense of control over the center. That would be my primary motive here. Okay, I killed the bug. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I would be trying to regain some control of the center. So like the very first move I would be considering is CD. So let's say CD, bishop takes. And I guess that's probably what she was considering. But then what do you do from there? Because b7 is being stared at, and we can't really play knight c6 because bishop takes, and then black's going to have two isolanis on the A and C files. And I guess that's what she didn't like. She probably didn't like CD, bishop takes. Okay, so I'm wondering why she played bishop d7. I'm guessing she wants to put it on c6. She probably wanted to play bishop d7 and then cd and then bishop c6. Something like that. Okay, so I can kind of understand that, but it still seems like a passive move. Or a slow move. But I can understand what she's thinking of here. What about... Oh, that might not work. I was thinking b5 now. So b5, bishop b3. We can't take on d5 because bishop takes and we lose the rook. So what about b5, bishop b3, and this may hurt, but possibly c5, giving white a passed pawn. Yeah, this is not a fun position. I don't know. I might even just go for those two isolated pawns, though. I just don't like being so passive here, but maybe CD, bishop takes. We may be able to play something strange like knight a6 there. CD, bishop takes, knight a6 with the idea of coming into c7. And that would kick the bishop out. It's a lot to consider, though. But I just feel like this is a passive move. And I just like the fact that CD gets rid of this annoying pawn in the center. So CD bishop takes, and the reason I'm not calculating if E recaptures, because I think we'll be able to just pile up on that pawn. White would just have an isolated pawn in the center. I think we could pile up on that. So I'm not worried about that. But I think bishop takes would be the best response. So CD bishop takes, and maybe knight a6. Knight a6, what would white play there? And black would have a lot of time to calculate this. This is a 45 plus 45 game. That's a very long game. You know, that could be a 2-hour game there easily. So yeah, so CD bishop takes, knight a6 with the idea to come into c7, and I'm not sure what white would play there. Let's say bishop e3. Yeah, bishop e3 and then knight c7, rook a d8, or sorry, rook a d1, and then knight takes d5. And I think black is, to me, black looks fine there. So I'm going to look at that, and I'm going to make the moves. I'm going to put the engine on too, because I'm curious what it thinks. Yeah, so it likes it. It's fine with that. It also likes b5 here, or b6, which is kind of bizarre. But so CD, and then my idea was knight a6. Yeah, computer likes knight a6. Wait, well, it did at first. It did at first. It actually hates my knight a6 idea. It's saying bishop d2, and then if okay, oh god, and then there's bishop a5. I thought something like that might happen, but I was looking at it from the other diagonal. Okay, so my idea doesn't work. I'm not always right. Yeah, that's an understatement. Sorry. So the computer here, instead of bishop d7, is, which it doesn't hate. It actually likes it better than my idea of knight a6. And it's fine with CD, but after bishop recaptures, it wants to go knight c6, which was the very first thing we considered. My concern was if bishop takes, but computer is fine with these isolated pawns. It says that's the cost of doing business for the bishop pair. Okay, I'm going to turn off the engine. I think it may stutter my video when I put that on. Hopefully it didn't. So yeah, so anyways, that is kind of what the computer was thinking. It's saying, I have the engine off here, but it was saying, yeah, you could take, and then knight c6, and the isolated pawns, yeah, as I say, it's the cost of doing business. We don't like these isolated pawns, but we do have the bishop pair. We do have a rook on the open file. So that hopefully is enough compensation for these ugly pawns. Yeah, that's still a hard decision to make though, because this is not like those pawns are not beautiful pawns. The other option, the other thing, and I know I'm consulting the engine here. Normally, I don't do that in the beginner chess games, but in a 45 plus 45 minute game with players who are like 1900, I'm going to need help. Yeah, so computer is suggesting b5, bishop b3. I considered this, but then I didn't know what our follow-up was. I was considering c5, which the computer does not like at all because of a4 will undermine them. It says bishop b7, and I actually like that idea. So I have the engine off again, but yeah, b5 was the idea of bishop b7. That's kind of nice too. So those would have been those would have been alternative moves to bishop d7 there. So she takes now. This is what happened in the game now. Okay. So that has been resolved. Ooh, knight d4. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That might be okay. Yeah, because what else would you do here? Knight d4, yeah. Boy, this bishop is not a happy camper. In the opening, well, never mind. But I was just going to say, I wonder if Black might want to consider the way this the structure of this opening gives this here. But I guess, I mean, that might be just part of the nature of the King's Indian. Again, I don't play the King's Indian, so I can't give too much insight there. So yeah, knight d4. Well, white doesn't take. Okay. So she immediately takes on f3. I mean, I'm not going to find anything amazing because, again, the computer said there were no mistakes at the very beginning. But I was, during my science, I was just looking at a few ideas there. Like I was thinking of delaying it with rook d7, and then if rook f d1, then we double up rooks ourselves. I was also thinking of rook d7, and if rook f d1, check now. But that wouldn't be good. That wouldn't be as good. So yeah, I was just looking for alternatives because the game ended. I can tell you right now, the game ended in a draw. It was just flat line the whole way through. So yeah, I don't know. I think taking is best. I was just looking for alternatives. She takes back. Yeah, I mean this. I don't know. I can't really fault anything. Rook c8 might be interesting here, but I guess there's just bishop c3. So yeah, that doesn't really work. Okay, so yeah. Although what about rook c8 now? I don't know what she played, but rook c8. Rook c8, I guess rook d1. But I mean, honestly, in this type of position, like this is already kind of a draw. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you know, we're just going to be trading blows here. I mean, this looks very drawish. So I can just tell you right now, this just looks like a draw. Well, I don't really like blocking our bishop there. I don't think it's a blunder, but I'm not sure what I would play instead. I like these king moves by Black. I like that. Okay, yeah, this is good. I like these. I like this play. I'm not sure if h5 is necessary. I may be trying to improve this bishop. I think I would play bishop f8 here. Get this bishop active. You know, just throw it somewhere, even here, because it's terrible where it is right now. I would be working on getting that bishop active. Yeah, I'm not sure about fixing the pawns there either. Again, I think I would be activating the bishop here. Yeah, because that bishop's buried. This rook move is also a little strange. I think I would have played king f8. Sorry, king f7 so that I can play bishop f8. It's going to be a long video, man. Yeah, I think that's what I would play here, unless it's a blunder for some reason. But yeah, because this is passive play again. Yeah, this is all kind of awkward. Ooh, yeah, and then he allows you through. Okay, well, this is, but the pawn structure should, yeah, not, ooh. Yeah, so the problem with these types of moves is this is just, I mean, if black wants to draw, this is the type of move you would make. But when you fix your pawns, like on b5, the black's king cannot go anywhere and cannot make progress. You know, this is an impenetrable wall, and black cannot go through there. And even with trades of pawns and stuff, it should just be a draw. This should be a draw anyways, so it's not like there's better alternatives. But I would be trying to activate the king, like getting a more active king. Again, I think white can easily hold a draw here, but I think this just gives no possibilities for a win for black. Like this is just, yeah, and then they just agreed to a draw there. Yeah, so this is actually a pretty boring game to analyze, and I'm sorry for that, but I'll probably upload it anyways because it should still be. What can we learn from this? We got to learn something from this game. What can it be? Because I can understand the frustration here from Aerytheta, because when the computer tells you that you didn't make a mistake and you still don't win, it's annoying because it's like, what did I learn? And when you play a game like this, it's like you didn't learn anything, but you still didn't win. And that's a very frustrating feeling to have when you are trying to get better. Like especially if this was a long game. This might have been a 2-hour game. And then again, 2-hour game, computer says you played perfectly, essentially perfectly, and you still don't win. So there's some openings that I play that like I get draws out of them very often. And I think part of this is opening repertoire decisions. So at the higher levels in tournaments, black is usually happy to get a draw because normally people will try to win with white and draw with black. Again, that's at the higher levels. So black shouldn't be too ashamed for getting a draw here. But if black wants to shoot for a win, maybe this isn't the best opening choice. It is a King's Indian, so it shouldn't, like there should be some more, it shouldn't be so drawish, but let's take a look at some of these lines. And I have the book database open here. So first of all, I mean, this whole trading, this was white's choice when white played DE here. Of trading the queen. So it's white is the one that kind of enters into a drawn line. And looking at the database here, the top two lines of bishop g5 by white and knight d5, they're both extremely high draw rate. So this is basically a drawn line that's chosen by white. So there's two other lines. So yeah, this e5 line, I guess if white wants, white can get into a very drawn type of position. If black really wants to fight for a win, maybe black should have a bit of more opening, expand their opening repertoire here, because there's other lines that are much more decisive. There's knight a6 and knight bd7 are both much more decisive options for black here, according to the database. well, I shouldn't say much more, but a bit more decisive. E5, and then D takes it's a drawing line. I wish I could show you. Okay, maybe I can show you here, like this. So you can see here on the right above me here, the the fourth line down, D takes E5, 64% drawn rate. 64%. Look at these other lines. They're like 40%. Like they're much more fighting lines. But this is D takes E5 and just trading queens, getting into a pretty equal endgame. Super drawish. So this was really White's choice to kind of get into a drawn position. And there's probably not a whole lot that Black can do about that. So it might be before this, instead of E5, there might be other options like knight E6, knight D7, might give Black more of a fighting chance. If Black still wants to play this line, taking a look at the database here, and you'd have to do more research on it yourself. Probably you want to do knight takes, and see. Yeah, so let me get back to the other screen here. But maybe this H6 line, maybe there's a reason why this hasn't been played too often. So if I go back to the analysis screen where it just was, so this H6, which is what Aerytheta played, you can see it's only been played 7 times and Black never won, I don't think. Yeah, Black never won a single game after H6. So this, I'm not sure if I think Aerytheta has chess base. I'm pretty sure. This is the point where I think this whole game is about, it's going to be about expanding your opening repertoire, because she didn't really make any mistakes this game. Neither side did. Both sides played pretty much perfectly, as you can see here. They're completely flatlined, 10 average center pawn loss. So when something like that happens, I think that's where you can hone your opening repertoire. And so as I mentioned, maybe a few moves before, Aerytheta could check if she still wants to play this way against this particular line where White trades queens in this King's Indian. The other thing is here, I think this is a very crucial point here when she played H6, getting back to this H6 point again. As you can see, there was 180 or so games played in this position. H6 has only been played 7 times. Pretty much every other move here was C takes and B5. And B5 has the best win rate. In fact, Black has won twice as often as White has with B5. So what I would recommend to Aerytheta is to look at the games here in ChessBase, professional games. Look at the annotated games, read what they have to say, look at the top player games. And then I would also, well, this is a personal thing, but I would run Stockfish here, the top 3 lines or top 4 to like depth 48. This is move 11, so it shouldn't take that long. It might take, it depends on your computer, but it might take about an hour and a half. But run it to depth 48 and see what the computer likes. Take all that information together and then decide what you would like to play in the future here. Because I think a lot of this is kind of an opening repertoire choice in building here. Again, this H6 kind of leads to a very just flat type of position. This B5 kind of mixes things up a little bit. This kind of makes me think of it like a Benko type of structure. And this might still be quite trash, but again, Black has won twice as often. It's a small sample size of only 50 games, but computer quite likes this too. I mean, look at this, 0.6. This is only early on. It's only, like a shallow depth of 21 so far, but if anyone has the advantage here, it's Black. Now it's just flattening out a little bit, but again, it's probably dead equal here, but if anyone has the advantage, it's going to be Black. So the B5 might be a way to mix things up a little bit more. If we just follow the way that most of the games went, bishop B7, bishop G5, rook D7, rook C1, A5, things might change a little bit here. King e2, a4. The position is, well, it's a complicated position. And maybe it still ends up in a draw, you know. But yeah, I mean, it still might end up in a draw with perfect play. Well, with perfect play, it will end up with in a draw. But there's more things to consider here. It's a little bit more challenging than the way the game went with h6. Sorry, let me get back to that line. With h6 here, this is the way the game went. Because, you know, just trades, more trades. And then even though, and the thing here is like, even though black forces white to have double pawns, since the rooks get traded, this is really quite drawish. The pawns are all on the same, you know, the pawns are all kind of mirrored. There's 4 plus 4, 2 plus 2. This is pretty much going to be a draw. Yeah, maybe black has a tiny edge, but most times this is going to be a draw unless somebody blunders. So I think this game is just all about opening repertoire tweaking. If you really want to avoid a draw in this position, you need to dig down here and really choose your choose your repertoire lines carefully and choose something that has more of a fighting bite to it. That's what I would recommend. This happens to me too. In some of my lines, I don't want to say it on stream, but there's a few lines that I play, even in the Sicilian, believe it or not, that almost like if I have an equally skilled partner, it's going to end up in a draw. But I am black, so I don't hate that too much. The other thing to consider is, even if it is technically a draw with perfect play, if you choose the best moves, let me get back to the other screen here. If you choose the best moves and the best lines, you could get familiar with it, with the tiny nuances, and then you could still eke out a win, because even if the computer says it's an equal position. Okay, so anyways, hopefully that helps. This is again very different from the normal videos, and this is why I limit my videos to people that are rated lower, because I can easily spot the mistakes. I can spot them left and right, and there's a billion huge mistakes. In this game, it was pretty much perfectly played, more or less. So the only thing I can, again, for the millionth time, I think this is a repertoire decision. This is where you have to spend time on your repertoire and really tweak what you want to play in the future there. And again, I would recommend looking over these games, over professional games. So first of all, look over annotated games, see if there's any information there. Secondly, just look over the highest rated games as black, what people played. And then thirdly, go over it with Stockfish at a deep depth on some of these key moves here. Sorry, even if you might even have to go earlier. You may even have to go a little bit earlier here. So yeah, so even this e5 again, because this e5, this is where it all kind of happens, because white can play d takes, and this is all kind of forced. Now there is another line here that which black has won twice as often as white, and that is that's white's move. My bad. Yeah, so this is so after this is already quite drawish, especially if knight d5, just a super drawing line. And I don't see any fantastic alternatives. Knight e8, if you want to kind of mix things up, seems to be a move. It's objectively a little bit better for white though. Yeah, because after this, it's just a very drawn position. It's just very drawish. Yeah, so maybe here like b5, as we talked about earlier, instead of h6. That might have been a way to. Again, computer seems to like that. So if you ran this tabia with Stockfish to depth 48, maybe it'll end up like minus 0.7 or minus 0.8. And if so, that's pretty good for black. I would be very happy with that as black, this b5 move. So that's what I would recommend. I know I'm repeating myself many times over, but if I just go to this other screen and put the engine on a little bit here, I think I did this before already, but like it's only depth 23, but it's minus 0.5. If it stays at minus 0.5 to like depth 48, I'd be pretty content with that. That's like a slight advantage for black, and I would not mind that. But it might end up just equalizing after a while there, because I did think I looked at this already. But these aren't all necessarily the best moves. Like maybe rook c8 is a better way forward, but I'm going to end it there. So hopefully that helps, Aerytheta. I know, well, just hopefully it helps, because I don't think I provided too much insight there. Again, I think this is a matter of, because you played very well. So I have nothing against pretty much everything you played. It was really just its opening choice, and you just have to hone down your repertoire here. That's all it is. Okay, well, hopefully this video wasn't too boring for you guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Feel free to subscribe on YouTube. I think as of this video, I have 230 subscribers. I would love to have 1,000 eventually, one day, maybe. If you subscribe, it'll know that you guys enjoy my content, but no pressure. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to record another video right after this one.